Thank you for tuning in. This is 101.5 KZKA FM, home of the Wolves, here at Los Angeles Academy of Arts and Enterprises. This is an interview made by students for the Los Angeles community to showcase local artists, musicians, politicians, and local creatives. Please enjoy.
Hello, how's it going? Thank you for listening to 101.5 KZKA FM. You are listening to our show, Meet Your Community. Today we have an amazing guest, Victoria Elise. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, yeah. So I'm Victoria Elise. I'm a 20-year-old singer-songwriter from East LA, and I make R&B, pop, Spanglish music. I actually started off performing and singing when I was 6 years old. I was trained in classical music and musical theater. So I was singing opera and stuff like that. But as I got older, I started to get more into other genres of music. So that kind of correlated into what I make now, which is, the R&B, Spanglish, poppy type sound. So yeah, that's me.
Oh, nice. Who introduced you into music?
Who introduced me to music?
Yeah, who introduced you into music?
Well, I feel like I've always been a fan of music. I've always been drawn to music, but my mom and my dad do have a big role in what I started listening to. My dad was really into classic rock and oldies and stuff, and my mom was into more rancheras and R&B oldies. So that's what I listened to, and then I just kind of was gravitated towards music. And then one of my cousins, actually, she's an opera singer and she lives in Germany. She does touring and stuff like that. She's big over there. She had a singing teacher here in LA, and then she was like, why don't you go try to do singing lessons, So I went to do singing lessons with her teacher, and then I found out that I was really, really interested in this. And I was 6 years old at the time, so I already had my dreams of my career being a singer from the moment that I walked into that singing lesson room. So I guess, yeah, my family just kind of put me on to music, and it's been like this ever since.
What is your dream collaboration?
My dream collaboration. Oh, there's so many great artists out there and so many great songwriters out there. So that's kind of a tough question, but I would really like to work with, oh my gosh, I'd really like to work with her. She's a great songwriter and she's a great singer. So her's good. Julia Michaels, she's a great songwriter. So I'd love to work with her too. I actually met her before and got to see her live. She's really nice. But yeah, I feel I mostly would want to collaborate with a lot of female songwriters and female artists, because there's so many men in this industry. It's a very male dominated industry already as it is. So to work with these female greats would be awesome.
Nice. Who inspires you to make music?
Honestly, I think I inspire myself to make music, because all of my music is based off of my own experiences. And I feel I'm my own biggest inspiration, My stories really help me write. So, yeah.
Do your songs have to do with anything you experience in your personal life?
Yeah, actually, my songs usually are a reflection of what I've gone through, or experiences that I've had, or experiences that me and friends have also had. I also like to take their experiences and put them into songs as well. But most of the time it is based off of what I've gone through, based off of something I've done, or how I'm feeling.
What inspiration do you look for when writing a song?
I really try to embody the feelings that I'm feeling and kind of give them a story when I'm writing music. Also, sometimes the most random things come up to my head when I'm trying to write a song. So sometimes it's just random, or sometimes I actually have I want to sit down because there's something that I've gone through or something that I'm feeling that I want to talk about. It's kind of like your own little therapy session. So I want to talk about it. I want to write it down. and put it into a song. But other times it is random, like I'll look at a tree and be like, "Ooh, a tree." you know
What are your musical influences?
My musical influences have to be, number one is Amy Winehouse. She's one of my favorite singers. She has this very like sultry soul jazz like thing about her. She's so great. She's one of my favorites. Also Selena, because she is Mexican American, just like I am, and she kind of really was the one to dominate the Spanish speaking like music culture when she couldn't even really speak Spanish herself. And I just think that's so like awesome. Like, and then her crossover into English music, which was of course cut way too soon, but she had started her crossover. And that's what I essentially want to do too. Like I want to have both audiences, both like Latin speaking and English speaking audiences. And I think it's really important to be connected to your roots and stuff. So I feel like that would be a great way. And also I love Alicia Keys. She's a great songwriter. She's one of my biggest like inspirations for songwriting. So Amy Winehouse, Selena, and Alicia Keys.
Nice. Besides music, do you have any other hobbies?
Besides music, I'm really into makeup. I love makeup. I actually used to do makeup as like a little side hustle. Like I would do girls makeup for prom, quinceañeras, like even like weddings, like for bridesmaids and stuff. So that's one of my hobbies. I also really like to cook. Cooking is really fun, except when everybody's up in the kitchen, because then I get stressed out. But when it's just me, then I have a blast.
Do you have any family members that also make music?
That make music? I don't think so. Honestly, I have so many cousins and so many family members. My mom is number 12 out of 12, and my dad is 12 out of 13. So that's already a lot of uncles and aunts. And then just imagine how many. No, I think actually makes music, but I do have a cousin who sings opera, and she works in this big opera house out in Germany. So she's singing, but I don't think she's like writing music. So I think it's just me. I think it's me, myself, and I.
How do you handle mistakes during a performance?
Honestly, I'm still learning how to do that, even though I've been performing since I was 6 years old. So most of the time when I mess up, I just either try to keep going or I just laugh it off. I just laugh, and then usually the audience will laugh with me, and then I'll just be like, sorry guys, and then I'll continue. But if I could help it, I really just try to like move on and move past it and try to make sure that nobody noticed it. But if it's noticeable, then I'll just laugh about it, because it's okay to laugh at yourself here and there.
Have you thought about playing different type of music?
Well, actually, I feel like I'm kind of like in this like little melting pot of music right now, because I'm making like R&B and Spanish, like Spanglish type music, but I also want to like venture off into more like, I don't know, like neo soul, like soulful hip hoppy pop type of music too. But I also want to make like some like ranchera tracks. Like I feel like that'd be really cool. I feel like I'm not the type of person to like limit myself to one genre or to put myself really in a box. So I feel like maybe in the future there'll be possibilities for other genres, or like genre bending, as I like to say. But I think for now I want to focus like on the R&B stuff, because I feel like that's when I really like feel like my authentic self.
What is one thing you like to change in the music industry?
One thing that I'd like to change in the music industry is the amount of women in power positions, like the amount of like CEOs and whatnot, because the music industry is already a very male dominated industry as it is. So I feel like I would like to be and like to see more women in positions of power, especially when it comes to like the behind the scenes stuff, because there's already like a lot of like women stars, like you have like Beyonce and like Demi Lovato, like people like that. But for the people who are running the industry from behind the scenes, it's just a bunch of old white guys. So I'd like to see more women and more women of color, kind of dominating the industry.
What are other career paths that you were interested in besides music?
Other career paths that I was interested in, I actually was really interested in law, and I was considering like going into like immigration law. But music is very important to me, so I stuck with music. But if music was completely off the table, I'd be going into like political science and like immigration law. So I think I'd probably be a lawyer.
Do you play any instruments?
I play piano mediocrely. I'm not like the best piano player that has ever graced the earth, but I do play piano. That's what I usually use to write my songs, so it helps to have like some piano knowledge. And I was learning guitar, but guitar is hard. I don't know how people do it. Like my fingers just don't bend that way. So I tried guitar for like a few months and then I gave up. But piano always has my back. So yeah, just piano.
Is there any advice you would give up to upcoming musicians?
One of the biggest pieces of advice that I could ever give, and that was given to me, is to never lose sight of what your goal is. Like when you're like coming up, there's going to be so many things that kind of like grab your attention, like, oh, like big parties and like, oh, like meeting all these famous people and stuff. But those are all just like big distractions that like deter you away from your goals. And to like also never lose like sight of yourself and who you are, because I feel like a lot of people who make it in the music industry tend to not remember where they came from and tend to not be so humble. So I feel like just remembering where you came from and paying homage to like those who came before you and like where you grew up and who you were before like the fame and before like you started getting like big and whatnot is really important to remember, because there's just so many corrupt people now in the music industry who just forget that they were a kid from the hood once. So never lose sight of your goals, because that's what you were working for, and always be your true authentic self.
What are your future goals for this year?
My future goals for this year are to release more music, because I did take like a year off from releasing music because I was just performing, and then like the coronavirus happened, so I didn't really want to release music at like a time where there was so much negativity like happening. There were more important things than my music right now. There was this deadly virus going around, and that was what we needed to shine light on. But for this year, I really want to release more music, and I want to just grow my audience more. And hopefully by releasing music, I can do so. So yeah.
Nice. Can you tell us on how you have handled the quarantine as a musician?
Quarantine has been tough as a musician, not gonna lie, because I make most of my money through performing. Because having music out, like, and people streaming your music, like that makes us like no money. We get like 0.0006 per stream, so that's like nada. So I made most of my money by performing. And so when we weren't able to perform anymore, it was like, oh well, what do we do now? But a lot of companies and organizations were really like swift about changing into an online setting. So I got to perform like at these festivals like virtually. I actually have one coming up March 6th, the World Vibe Fest. If y'all want to check it out, get tickets for it, that'd be cool. But yeah, so I feel like because of like how swift and how like nimble these organizations were about switching to an online platform, it's helped a lot. How like, however, there were like those first few months where it was kind of like, oh, what do we do? But the online festivals, online performing, has really helped, and it's actually been a lot more fun, I think so. Well, not a lot more fun, but somewhat like more fun, because you get to have more fun with the way you're set up. You get to be more creative with, like, I mean, like, I just have a small house. I don't have like this big old studio. So to kind of like change my whole room around and make it like a set was really fun. And I thought it was like really cool. I got to have everything designed the way that I wanted to. So yeah, I feel like it all took a turn for the better, like at the end.
Are there any local artists that you would recommend?
Local artists that I would recommend. There's so many great undiscovered and local artists here in LA, especially. We're just a booming city of artists. I have this friend, her name is Belle. She goes by Love Girl. Her music is super great if you're really into like the indie pop, like bedroom pop stuff. She has a song called Echo. It's out and it's great. It's one of my favorites. I sang it with her for a performance at school. I was her little backup vocals. It was really cute. So yeah, I feel like Belle is one person to like be on the lookout for, because I feel like she's gonna do big things. She's also a model and she's been in Vogue. She's super cool. She's like one of the coolest people I know.
Any shout outs or any upcoming projects you want to promote?
I have 2 songs coming out, and one of the songs is called Ojos Cafés, which is the one that you're gonna hear after this whole little interview thingy. And the other one doesn't have the name yet, but she's coming out real soon. And I always keep people posted and like updated on my Instagram. So if you want to follow me on Instagram to like see my updates about when new music will be released, feel free to follow me on there, victoriaelise.m. But you just have 2 songs coming out. The music videos will be out like a few months later than festival called World Vibe Fest. You can go online and search World Vibe Fest and buy tickets, and it gives you access to 48 hours worth of a festival. And mine is on March 6th, my performance, and you'll get to see some cool covers and some originals that are not even released. I have a lot of stuff that's not released that I'm just performing, and people are like, when are you gonna release it so we can hear it, not just when you have to perform it. It'll be coming out soon. So, but yeah, if you want the little sneak peek, you want to be in my little insider club, you should get tickets to the festival so you can hear some new music.
Once again, thank you for listening to 101.5 KZK FM. For more content like this, please check out at kzka.org for program schedules and additional information.